So here we are then, we are back for round 3 of the 181 Rider Championship. And interesting, we've got a Moto E rider on pole, which is a bit of an interesting thing. I think I'm gonna stick to soft tyres from now on, because we just don't wear the we don't spin the rear up, we don't ride properly, so there's no point. We may as well go soft because the tyres don't get hot enough to really wear out anyway. So once again, we're starting from the back of the grid. We've got a few different riders to watch out for. We've got to hope that Rossi and Cap. Oh, whoa! We've actually been launched up in the air this time. Look at me. My body's gone flying back down. There's riders all over the track. I remember this track in Carnage when I did it as 110 before with a 50% race, only getting up into the lead then. But obviously there is a lot more, likelihood that people will crash with the riders and stuff like that. So we'll start the cutscene. Balega again starting pretty well. Right, Balega's on pole with, Rossi's in front of the left. He needs to go a little bit to the right to avoid that. So he's got a good shot once again at trying to win the race, but he bottled it last time, so I wouldn't be surprised if he bottled it again. I can see a Rossi on the floor here. I can see a Kajiva just facing the wall, who's not actually crashed. So obviously if they just keep riding to the wall, I will have to go if they don't. Because I have to wait for everybody to leave to actually start last. So like if Kajiva has respawned now. So I was going to say, if they don't respawn, I'll just have to go without them. As Red Bull rookies, everyone's just sitting here. Now I'm not quite sure why, because if you'd spawned on the right hand side in the race, when you're actually doing the race, they love to just pull off in front of you. But the ones on the right there, I think they're just stuck. I don't think they know what to do. The Moto E riders aren't moving, and the other guy's just ramming to the back of him. That makes sense then. So I think that's Dovi just ramming into the back of a Moto E rider who's not moving in front of him. I'm waiting for it's Depunier. So I'm just waiting for these last couple of riders to respawn. We've been waiting here for 30 seconds. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. I'm waiting for Bastianini. And there's still quite a few riders actually further up the road that haven't respawned yet. But I've got to drop into 180 first place. Oh, so there's a Red Bull Rookies guy behind me that can't go. So I think I'm just going to go now. Because there's a lot of people just not moving. So off the line we go. Oh, big crash to 120... Well, into the 120s already. So 116th place as we go into turn 1. Look at the tyres, they are absolutely frozen. But yeah, those riders aren't leaving the grid, so I can't really wait for them to go because they're never going to. I don't want to lose a lap or anything like that. We waited for a minute. Perhaps should be the rule of thumb. Drop down to last, or we wait a minute. Because it's a bit unfair to make me wait any longer. But we are going to be pushing on now. Caparossi's crashed. Hopefully that's the one that's winning the championship. John McPhee has crashed with him, it seems. So up to 114th already. So that's obviously been a pretty lucrative start. A lot of the riders not really going anywhere off the start. That being the main problem. But the lag, I'm starting to get used to the lag because I'm recording the, I don't know if I'll record episode 4 as well now, but I've recorded the first 2 episodes on this one, all in one stint. So, I'm getting used to the lag a little bit. Although the fact that we're just riding in such weird conditions, so there's a massive amount of lag, there's people all over the place, the tyres are freezing cold the whole time, purely because I have to sit there for about a minute before the race starts, and you can never really get that tyre heat back because I just can't go quick enough to get it back up. There are people swerving all over the track. I'm surprised I haven't been caught up in any incidents here. Because it's a Renas, we're not getting it stopped here. Marquez has already crossed the line, Okawa in second. But yeah, I wasn't getting that stopped because I broke up the normal braking point with a cold front. So that was never happening. We're back on the track now though. I think that's Doohan behind us, nearly crashed into us. Marcus Simoncelli's had a crash. Actually, I haven't seen him or seen him mentioned at all yet. At all in the whole series. Marcus Simoncelli. In fact, I kind of forgot he was in the game. And you forget which classic rider's in the game because I don't play with the classic content like ever. Chen Lonchu's had a crash. Remember, Chen Lonchu was stuck on the floor at the start of the Argentinian Grand Prix. So Albert Arenas is next. Well, we've only got 5 laps here, I've just noticed. So that's good. We don't have to do 6. I mean, I'd probably prefer 6 because it gives me more time to actually get to the leaders. We're on the outside of Arenas. We're not even going to get close to any leaders, that's for sure. I feel like this one is a wide track. So I think it's going to be less carnage, although there looks to be people still stopped on the start line, so I'm really glad I left, because they're still stopped here, the same people that didn't move before. They're just in a train, they're just in a barricade, what is this? So up to 102nd now. But good job I didn't wait any longer, although I probably waited a little bit too long anyway, if they're not moving. You can tell that obviously this was never intended by the developers to have this many people on track. The game does not, just flat out does not know what to do. At least at the other tracks, the Rebel Rookies people and the Moto E guys actually try and move. They're not actually moving at all here, and that's a bit of a problem, because it means that we are just going to get stuck in like 100th place. The AI aren't going to crash into them at all. It's a bit of a problem. We're going to probably get that a little bit at some of the European tracks as well. Jerez, we're only half the Moto E riders going slow. Tracks like Austria, everyone's going to go around at the right speed, so that'll be interesting. But we've sat Bastiani up, Minos just sat Lopez up, and on the exit we're going to go off the track a little bit. Heat up that tyre a little bit. The rear tyre's actually quite hot for saying that we were sat there for a whole minute earlier on. Simoncelli passes Pedrosa then for 44th position. We're in 99th now. The bike is shaking. Arbolino's going pretty slow. Marquez still leads. It doesn't look like a car was still with him though. Well, he's still second actually. He just dropped back a bit more from him. There's a Lorenzo and a Rossi quite high up. I don't like that particularly, because obviously there's already been a Rossi win, and a Lorenzo has scored high a couple of times, I think. Not the same one, but a couple of different Lorenzos. I see her trying to force me onto the inside. Pretty brave move from him, must be said. We're behind Gibernat, must be one of the 4-stroke, or actually is he? And there's actually 2-stroke Gibernat, so it must be one of the 4-stroke Gibernats. Obviously the Moto E one is still sat on the line. There is constant crashes for saying that they're not actually moving around, so I'm guessing maybe they're on the AI line a little bit, which could be quite interesting. We are catching to a big train of riders. We could perhaps do with a longer race here, because I think me getting something decent is not out of the question here at all. If I had more time, but there are, yeah, they're just sat like this if they're in a queue of traffic, not overtaking each other or anything. Not even moving. It's literally gridlocked. They literally are locked on the grid. Around the outside of Gibernat. It's up to 93rd, so that's what I mean. We're not gaining many positions. Usually we'd be up into the 60s or so by now, but obviously a combination of waiting probably a little bit too long, because I didn't realise that they weren't moving at all until I realised that they were literally just sat in the queue, and the fact that they are just sat in the queue not holding anybody up, it's making it very difficult here. So it's the AI that got off the line well, or basically the AI that didn't crash at the beginning, like get spawned inside each other and get flung up, because there's just sometimes you don't get flung up as high as you do. So the Motogp, basically the Motogp and 500s AI and the 990s and stuff, the ones that didn't get caught up in that are basically given free positions, because they've got quicker bikes than everybody else, so even if they end up behind them after the first sector, they just blast past them on the straight. So up to 90th now. So unfortunately, doesn't look like we're going to get anything decent today. That's for sure. I know I say that every time and then we come very close to points, but there's nothing. Whoa, there's been a big crash in front of us. That's 2 riders though. You see, that would usually happen with 20 if the Moto 3, or the Moto E and the Rebel Rookies riders are going. So Lorenzo's passed through Kawa now. Or Biaggi. Biaggi in 4th is not nice, either, because Biaggi got 2nd in the previous race. Could be a different Biaggi, but still it's pretty risky. My rear tyre is actually quite hot now, although my front one is still very cold. So quite bizarre. Jake Dixon's just gone back up the inside of me. I've just been overtaken by Moto 2 KTM, which is not only a slower bike, it's also a bad version of a slower bike. So, you know, not most ideal. So we've got Jean Zarco in front of us. Someone going on the outside. Balega. So again, Balega's bottled yet another front row. A front row where he didn't get knocked off. He's had twice in a row, and now he's behind me after not even 4 laps. Bit of a joke, but we are about to start the penultimate lap, and we're in 86th. I've got to go get a penalty for that, surely. No. Perhaps the penalty system is slightly broken in this mode as well. We're doing 204s, which actually, you know, for saying the conditions we're playing on, there aren't terrible lap times. Zarko gone inside of Luti into turn 1. Seems to have got that stuck. Yeah, he seems to have done it, although he made that a bit difficult for saying he's got such a quicker bike. It's a bad MotoGP bike, but it's still miles faster than anything Moto2 have got. Right around the outside of him. Jorge Martin, obviously he got points in the first race. We've just split him. Bo Ben Schneider as well. Oh, we've just absolutely rammed Zarko out of the way. So we're at 82nd now. I'm pushing on, but there's really no need. This one, obviously I've not had any crashes, but neither have really anybody else. There was literally crashes non-stop happening in the other two races. Because you just get round to a part of the lap and the AI would be there. Through turn 10 then. Oh, there is a crash there for Shinya Nakano. First up to Philip Ertel. There are still crashes because the Moto3 and the Moto2 guys are going a lot slower than the MotoGP guys still. So if they catch them quickly on a straight, they do end up crashing into them still. So this one's basically been pure overtaking. We overtook about 40-50 people legitimately without like the crashes and stuff. And obviously everyone being stationary. So we've not done a bad job. Close not to... I nearly said Remy Gardner then. It's definitely Wayne. So Marquez has extended his lead ahead of Lorenzo. Where's Ukawa now? Is he still in front of Biaggi? Or Biaggi? Yes, it did look like he was. Apparently Depunier's over to D'Amelio, but quite how that's happened I don't know because they're not moving. Not even moving slowly like they were in the last races. They're not even moving at all. I'm not really sure why that is. Oh, the rear is spinning a lot. So I looked for the file that I believe controls how the AI ride each track, and I couldn't find the Moto in the Red Bull Rookies ones to know what to name the. I was going to copy up the Moto3 file for them, so at least they'd know how to ride around the track at the start of the series. But I couldn't find them. They are just gridlocked. They are absolutely gridlocked. Unbelievable. Brought to 78th anyway. I'm going to struggle to get that stopped. The guy behind me is probably going to get underneath me. Who is it? Oh, it's Gardner. I think that's a Moto3 bike still in front of me. We're doing Austin. It's not only is the AI slow. The Red Bull Rookies, the Moto3, it's like a 2-minute lap, and they do like 2-minute 30s. You actually get about 30 seconds a lap. And oh, it's Nakano in front of me. That's not I thought it was the Leopard blue, but it's green for Kawasaki in front. A crash for Casey Stoner. My gain lagged a little bit, so I was thinking it's probably near me, but it doesn't look like it was. The electronics not really behaving properly well, so physics are a bit broken in this state. You see, you catch up to a big train like this, and they are just in a big cluster. Like, you could gain... If I had a few more laps, I could gain some mad positions here, but... It's not to be, it's not to be. 1.4 seconds behind Bezzecchi. Why have I said Bezzecchi? I know it's Bezzecchi. I'm clearly forgetting how to speak. So there's a big group of them, and I've gone in way too hard. Marquez has won. So yeah, Marquez has been crossing the line virtually every time we get to the hairpin. So we haven't really lost or gained anything on him the entire race. So I was hoping this race would be actually quite good, a good chance for us to actually score something decent, but it's been a bit broken and a bit boring, to be honest. Not to mention, yeah. So I actually picked soft because I was like, oh, we always ride so slow and the tyres so cold, but this is the one race where I've actually just been left alone and sort of been allowed to ride around the track kind of, you know, it's a low frame rate, but semi-normally. It's like playing on an Xbox right now. Oh, we've still not been able to pass Bezzecchi. I'm not really sure how. I've managed to slip behind him for like an entire sector. I just needed to pull to the right side of him. He's still trying to keep in front. I'm not having him. I'm not finishing behind him. So we're going to be 83rd here. So, yeah, not great. I think the game actually has crashed. No, it's not. All right. It took a bit longer to load.
Before we go to see the party at the podium, let's take a look at the Motogp class final results.
So I think 2014 Marc Marquez, that is, or it might be 2013, has won the race. But the bad thing is that the Lorenzo is in second, and that Rossi in 10th, Biaggi in 8th. I don't like that too much. Shane Byrne's got in the points this time though. Jean Mir 15th, 14th for Leish Spagro, 13th for Alex Barros, Kenny Jr. in 12th, Alex Crivier 9th as well, Nakagami 7th, 6th for Dovi, 5th for Schwantz, 4th for Miller and 3rd for Kukawa. But I hope that's not Lorenzo that's already scored well, because they'd definitely be running away with the championship if it is. So have a look, it's not. But Marquez has gone up 131 positions to 3rd place, so fair play to the chap. 26 up for that Lorenzo, so actually it might have been the Lorenzo that scored low points before. So yeah, we've got to worry about him now, definitely, because he's got quite a fair amount of points. But we've had 3 bad races, obviously we haven't scored points yet, but the leader of the championship is still 25 points. We're going to have to win 1 race to be in the lead of the joint lead of the championship. So it's, yeah, pretty interesting stuff. Miller moves up 111, Toru Okawa moves up 116, Schwantz moves up 18, which obviously is 102 points for Dovi. I've been waiting for people to move up hundreds of positions. I haven't seen it yet, but they have now. Where am I now then? I'm probably in the 50s. I'm 44th in the championship now. So that race does not help me at all. In the team's championship then, Fiat Yamaha still lead. Neither of their riders have actually scored since the first one, so that's pretty nice. One Repsol Honda team's moved up ahead of another one into second place. Only 2 points down though now. That Repsol Honda team definitely scoring quite a bit. I'm guessing that is the 2013 one, which would be the Marquez and Pedrosa one, because I think Pedrosa did well in one of the races as well. So that'd be why. Although it also could be that team behind, only a few more points behind as well. Pramac have got back up to 4th. Obviously Bagnar had the good race in Qatar. Miller getting a good one here. There's a lot of Repsol Hondas on this front page, isn't there? Let's see where we are now then. We have dropped down massively. We're 21st now. Maverick Vinales didn't want to score points for us. And how many teams have actually scored now? 32 of the teams have scored. So, yeah, getting pretty competitive. Let's have a look at the Constructors' Championship. So we continue to lead. Yamaha still winning. Honda have now moved to 2nd ahead of Ducati in 3rd. Aprilia say 4th. Suzuki moved up 3 ahead of Kalex, KTM and Speed Up. And those are the only ones that scored. So NTS haven't scored yet. Energica, to be fair, haven't had a chance to score because none of their riders have actually been able to leave the grid properly yet. Kajiva still haven't scored anything. MV, no, they haven't scored anything, and neither with Kawasaki. But apologies for that one being a bit rubbish. Not a lot I can do. If the mod doesn't provide the chaos for once, this is how it'll be. I mean, it was still pretty chaotic, but they were just all stuck on the grid, so it wasn't much of a... At least if they were stuck on the right hand side of the grid, it'd have been interesting. But they weren't, they were stuck on the left, so the AI just all rode past them. A bit of a... So yeah, it was a little bit boring, but hopefully Jerez will be a bit better. The Red Bull rookies will be riding around. They'll be getting in the way, still. But yeah, they'll actually be riding around. Moto E will still be going around very slow. So I'm guessing some of the quick right-handers will be a bit of a problem trying to navigate around them. But I hope you have enjoyed this one. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And I shall see you in the next one.